What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's Tuesday, and I think I've got COVID again. Isn't it just wonderful? Yeah, I was doing great this morning. Well, not great this morning, but I was doing okay this morning. And then this afternoon, wham, just hit me like a ton of bricks, just like the last 3 times. Anyway, it could be something else. It could be sleeping sickness or, berry probably. Who knows? Who knows? How's everybody doing? I see that there are already some restless folks in the cheap seats there. We'll get to them in just a second. Walter, I have answers to your questions. I don't know if I'm going to make it through tonight. I'm sure I will, but I'm going to be relying heavily on you because I had a program all scheduled. You know that today was the layover. Oh, jeez. See, I told you I wouldn't make it through the night. Today was the mystery lens announcement. Nothing to do with layover. That was something else completely. And anyway, it was moved. It was moved to the 26th of September, which is a couple of weeks hence from now. So, so I had a whole program planned for tonight, which just evaporated. So I'm gonna do something along those lines, but I'm gonna be relying on you to ask me interesting questions so that I can appear engaged. For some reason, all my cameras are working tonight, which is so that you can see how green I am. So we'll get to all of that in just a second. But the first thing I'm going to do, because I've been bad about this of late, is answer your questions and say hi to you, because I've been doing that late and missing some of it. So we're going to do that in 2 seconds. I just love that. Oh, look, my picture's frozen. That was supposed to be, I said my cameras were all working. That one's not working. It's frozen. Let's try the other one. Here we go. It's going to be, that one's working. That's the phone. There's 2 of me on there now. And if we're a little bit of luck, we'll have an overhead view. That one's working too. This is fantastic. A red letter day. So let me answer some of these questions. NovaFlex. Walter says, I want to see those videos now before I buy a NovaFlex thing. And I don't blame you. Yeah, I would too. And I will get those out. But there were a couple of priorities. I've already done a NovaFlex video and 3 live streams that have focused primarily on that equipment. I've talked all about the rail. But I do have the video on 2 videos, actually. The review of the rail and the tutorial on the rail. But they were moved to the second slot because we had a mystery lens that was going to be released today. And that is a work that's been going on now for 5 months almost. So that needed a little bit of cleaning up to get ready to go. And I ended up recording most of the video again yesterday. So there's a lot of stuff in the works, a lot of really, really cool stuff that you're going to want to hear about, and it's all important. So, I'll get to it. I promise. I will. I've got to feel a little better than this, though, to make anything completely new. It's not a matter of just releasing the videos. It's a matter of finishing them up and getting some photographs taken, that type of thing. Harold, greetings, my friend. It's been a long time. Good to see you again. You tried to get the NovaFlex code with B&H, the AW7, and it was rejected. I think the AW7 is going to be good through the NovaFlex US site only. But I may be wrong. I will check on that. I will. I promise. As soon as we get done this evening, I will get in touch with NovaFlex and I will find out exactly what's going on. I did ask the question about my European viewers and whether or not they were getting a discount. And I may have already received a reply to that. I just haven't had a chance to get to it yet. So Not doing a super job of following up on that, but I will. I'll get in touch with them tonight. So hopefully we'll get an answer for you. You're not probably alone in thinking that you'd rather get it from B&H than from anywhere else, and I understand that. So I will do my best to get to the bottom of it. Okay, so good evening, Alistair. Thanks for coming. Thanks for everything you do. I appreciate your help. And Jim, greetings. I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I'm going to ask Alistair to keep a tally for me. All you have to do is write a number in the chat after I ask this question. The question is this: if a good lens company, a good maker of lenses with a good reputation and a good history, were to decide to make a new macro lens for us, a macro lens that is not currently well represented, what focal length and aperture would you most desire in a macro lens? Your choices are 50 millimeters, 100 millimeters, 200 millimeters. That's it. That's all you've got to answer. Of those, which would you be most motivated to buy? And the longer, well, I said aperture as well. Let's say they're all going to be f2.8, even the 200. Now that's going to mean that the price is going to go up with each millimeter of focal length. So let's say, for the sake of this argument, that the 50 is $300, and the 100 is $900, and the 200 is $2,000. Which lens do you want to see on the market, brand new from this great company, whoever it is? Okay, you understand the question? Just pick a number, 50, 100, or 200. I need this for an argument I'm making to somebody. I'll explain it later, probably another day. But anyway, let's move on. Joseph, good evening. How is Detroit doing? Hopefully nice? Nope, dark and damp. Okay, well, at least I asked. Let me see. Joseph says, I usually operate on the principle that the Mac group is the only source for something. I don't really need that something. Oh, if the Mac group is the only... Well, that's not very helpful, because these folks do want to get this rail, and they don't want to get it from an unknown. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I think you have a history with the Mac group, don't you, of some kind? Right, well, we won't go there. Make your own mind up about the Mac group, guys. They seem to be a fairly respectable group. They've got some big names. Anyway, let's move on before I start getting sweaty over that. I want to thank a couple of people tonight, and they've really, these are people that have gone over and above, and it's not the Alistairs and the Buds and the Amys and everybody who's doing so much all the time, continuously. It's not even Patrick, who announced today that the Walls app is live, and I'll get to that in just a second. This is a so over-the-top kind of thing that it deserves a special mention, special recognition. You know, my friend came down to visit me from the state of Peoria last week. I had Laura with me down here to go take pictures, and just like old times. And it was a wonderful, wonderful visit. It was great to have some company and help. And I needed a piece of equipment when I was down here. I didn't say anything about it, but I was having trouble drilling holes since my drill broke. And this was given to me by my friend Laura, friend of the show, Laura. This thing is so powerful. It has a big long handle you have to use with it. It's fantastic. I've been using it, drilling holes in virtually everything. It had no trouble going through the hood of my car. No trouble at all. So that was, I'm so grateful to you for that. There were actually two drills. The other one was a hammer drill, and I tried using it as a hammer, and it no longer turns on, so I must be doing something wrong. The second thing is going to be challenging, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. There is a friend of mine who is a friend of the show, who has supported me since day one doing this, Has also been a close friend of my family's back in the day, back in the dark ages, so to speak. This is Susan I'm talking about, Susan Seaford. You know her because I mention her all the time because she's always doing stuff for the channel. And I'm so grateful to her. And she was the one that let me borrow her macro lens, her 200mm f4 and her Z8. And she was the one that got me selling countries around the world illegally to you guys so you could put a pin in your own country and to raise money. And I raised a little bit, but it kind of stagnated because I'm not a very good salesman. And when I heard from Trinidad and Tobago that they were going to be filing a lawsuit because I'd sold them to somebody and I couldn't do that, it was theirs to sell, I thought, well, I better stop doing this before like Russia gets wind of the fact that I'm selling chunks of that too. So that one shriveled up, and to be honest, I just haven't had I guess the time and the energy to go chasing after that again. Well, anyway, the short version of the story is Susan was also a good friend of my late wife's. And this arrived today. You may recognize this as a Z8. This is the camera that I got to use for a good while this summer. Only this one is mine now. It was given to me by Susan. There you go. Thank you. Fantastic. I'll say more about this another time. Yes, I will. So let me see, where was I? I was saying hi to folks. Russ is here. Cooler and much more comfortable in Wales. Well, don't rub it in. It's not cool or comfortable in Alabama right now. It's still high summer here. It's miserable, honestly. It's so hot outside. And let me see. Alistair and Joseph both should really be in bed. Got a hospital appointment in 8 hours' time. Who does? Alistair? I hope you don't, but if you do, good luck with it and let me know what goes down. I hope everything's okay. I hate to hear that. All right, David, greetings. Winthrop, Maine, 67 degrees. Oh, that's getting quite nice up there. Good for you. And, oh, we just did that thing where it jumps like a maniac to the bottom of the screen. Are you giving me numbers, 200, 100, or 50? I'll explain why as soon as I get all the numbers tallied. If it goes in my favor, that is. All right, let me see. Toluca's here. Greetings, my friend. A proud liberal. How very organized to schedule going to the hospital. Well, yeah. Doesn't everybody schedule going to the hospital? You don't just show up there. I guess you could, though, couldn't you? That's what the emergency room's for. Anyway, Susan, greetings. I'm glad I decided to take the plunge on that before I saw you were here. Thank you so much. Yep, lost for words again. Robert, greetings down in Ocala, Florida. I know it's got to be miserably hot down there too. Okay. You guys are talking about something about kids and childhood. I didn't have one of those. I grew up just the way I am, so I'll skip that. Okay, let me see. Laura is here and she retracted her message or redacted her message. Thank you, Laura. Thanks for everything you did, and thanks for coming down to visit. All right, great. Let me see. Dimitris is here from Greece, and that's always good. Nastavnik from France. This is your first time, I do believe, sir or madam. Welcome, welcome. You're catching me at something of a disadvantage because I'm feverish and parts of me are not working properly today. But normally they do, and you wouldn't be able to tell a difference anyway. But welcome. I do hope you come back again after tonight. You probably won't, but there you go. Let me see. Mike Olson is here from the extraordinarily hot Arizona, Phoenix area. It's finally cooling down now. Huh. Well, are we going to be the last place in the world to get cool? I suppose we will be. I can feel it too. All right. There we go. Let me see. More names. Laura. says hello to everybody, every single one of you. Say hello to Laura. And Don Frambach from Oakview, California. Don, your name is very familiar, but are you also a first-timer here? I hope if you are, feel welcome. You're always welcome here. We do this twice a week. This week, you won't believe this, but on Thursday, I had another program about this mystery lens that was supposed to be released, that I can even show the thing to you because I've redacted it. See, you can't tell what it is because of the paper on it. But this was going to be part of the thing on Thursday too. So it won't be. We'll be talking about something else. And the reason there isn't a video posted yet is because I haven't thought about what that will be. What about Patreon, you're saying? Isn't this weekend the first per Zoom at 10 o'clock in the morning? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And why have the Patreon folks not received a message from me outlining that, as well as all the other activities this week? I don't know. Probably because I have the cold or whatever it is, and I'm just not firing on all cylinders, and I didn't get to it yet. But I will, tonight, at some point. I will send out a message telling you what's coming up. But it will be a per Zoom on Saturday, and I think we're going to be talking about some navel gazing stuff. There's a few things going on with, yeah, I'll tell you what. Chat amongst yourselves while I blow my nose. Ugh. That was not actually a nose blow, it was just a mopping effort. But yeah, there you go. I am going to show you guys some photographs. 3 photographs to be exact. And they come with a story. And I want you to tell me what you think these are, or this is, because I don't know. I took a photograph and I don't know what it is I photographed. And yeah, it's a what the hell is that kind of game, like the last one we did, only it's not so, I don't know what the answer is. So you have to tell me. This is a little bit strange, but I was up late working on getting some content out last week, one night. And very late, as I was preparing to go to bed, I heard a noise from the garden, and it was a noise like a coughing or a gurgling, coughing and gurgling. And I looked out my blind, and this is what I saw. And yeah, I'm a little bit perplexed by this because I don't know what I was looking at. And maybe somebody is going to look at this and say, holy moly, you had a blank in your garden. Now, don't be coming up with crazy ideas, because I was already concerned enough about this when I saw it. This is it. Well, it didn't do the F thing. There we go. That is it. Now, it's dark, right? Well, it was dark outside, and there were no lights, and this was about 100 feet from my window in the neighbor's garden, and moving towards my house. Okay. You think I'm making this stuff up. I am not. This was honest to goodness. Let me find the other picture. Here it is. I somewhat enhanced it by denoise, and this is what the top part of it looked like. I'll show you that in full frame. Yep. Okay, so that was it. I hope this isn't something bad that I shouldn't be showing, but I really don't know what it is. And the third one was just the whole thing, yeah, with all the noise still in it. It's the same. They would take the 3 pictures were taken bam, bam, bam like that, because I was not going to stick around trying to figure out what this was at 2 o'clock in the morning. I thought I was seeing things, but the camera was too. So, does anybody have the faintest idea what in the world that could be? Well, I'll show the picture again later if you want to see it, but yeah, I don't know. I can't even come up with a plausible guess. My neighbor's garden is right there, and it's just grass. There's nothing there. There's a driveway and grass, and there was nothing parked there. There was nothing in there before and nothing in there in the morning. But this thing was there in the middle of the night. Okay, that's it. Enough. And did everybody see the NovaFlex interview? I hope you did, because I think it went a long way to correcting some of the misconceptions that I had anyway, but I think certainly a lot of us might have had about the company. They seem to be a thoroughly decent, respectable company doing a good job, and they are proud of their products because they believe that they are the best. And having seen some of them now, I believe they may well be. They're very well made, and they are expensive, but they're expensive is kind of an afterthought here. The stuff is really good. The rail, for example, that you're asking about, and I haven't tried the M rail yet. This is the micro, the automated one, is among the most beautiful pieces of equipment that I've used in macro photography. In fact, this week I went out with friend of the show, Laura, camera person, who filmed me using the Castell micro on a tripod in the vertical orientation with the mystery lens. Not this one, the slightly less powerful iteration of it. So I've been using it outside with crazy optics in the wind, and it didn't work very well. I mean, the rail worked perfectly. The battery thing was not a problem. It lasted the whole time we were out there. What didn't work was taking pictures at high magnification in the wind as if I thought it might work. No, of course it doesn't work, because everything, the ground was vibrating in the wind. But it was great fun to do, and I'll show you some of those pictures later on. That'll be part of my review. But it is a fantastic device. I've used it now on every stacked image I've done since getting it in my hands. I'll be losing it very soon when I send it to a friend out on the West Coast, but in exchange I'll be getting the M for a little while to practice with that and see how the manual rail works. Those of you who are waiting for the video, I promise it is a priority, and I will get it out as soon as I possibly can. I promise. All right, let me see. Has everybody thought about or completed your enchanted flower picture or pictures for the competition? We are in September. It's Angie's month. She is doing the enchanted flowers, and I don't know what an enchanted flower is. You have to interpret that yourself, and then you have to go over to a very special place and drop the picture off. That special place is not Discord. That special place is the Walls app. Okay, it's now live, and I want to show you something that is exciting. I can't because I've lost my phone. Oh no, it's one of the cameras. Here, I'll show it to you. We have figured out, I didn't figure out, Patrick figured out how to get the little icon-y thing onto my phone. I'm going to show it to you because I'm so proud of it. There it is at the bottom. The Walls app. Now, all you have to do is this. Go to your phone. If you have an iPhone, everybody with a non-iPhone hasn't had a problem with this, so we'll make this iPhone. Go to your iPhone and open Safari. Safari's that thing with the compass. If you don't know that, just take your phone back to the shop and ask for your money back, because even I know that. Open Safari and then type in this, www.walls, all one word, dash, app.com. That's it. Type it in just once. You won't ever have to type it in again. And then hit go, or whatever the button at the bottom is. And that will take you to the Walls app. And once you start looking at it, just as you're getting comfortable with it, a window will appear and say, do you want to have an icon for this on your desktop or on your home screen? Hit yes. Now, that's where it gets complicated, because I can't remember what I did. This is, hang on a sec. I'll remember in just a minute when I do it. But there's a button you have to press that will allow it to be, this is a web app, by the way. It's not a regular app. And with web apps, you have to give the phone permission to put it on your screen. And that's all you have to do, is give it permission. But it's all there in the app itself, I think. Yeah, you go to the app and then you tap on the menu. No. See, I've already forgotten. But don't worry about it. I'll put a written description. But there's only one other thing you have to press, and it gives it permission, and then it'll come on. Mine's been on there. It works, and it links directly to the photo swap, or there's news. Doesn't say anything about COVID or me being sick, so we'll ignore it. And then there's the contact page and the Walls app home with all of the other nice things on it for you to do. It's fantastic. Get it and put it on your phone, and then make everybody you know put it on their phone. And everybody, so that everybody in the world has it within a week. And then, yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. Okay, so that's it. It's now working. Patrick got in touch with me this afternoon, just as I was becoming febrile again, and sent me a long message all about the fact that it was now working, and everything's done. Steve, the librarian who's running the photo swap, has got his page working great. Bud, I believe, has got the My Rig site working great. And I think that's it. Who am I missing? It's probably something I'm supposed to be doing to make it run great, but I can't remember what it is right now. But anyway, there you go. What am I missing? We already talked about this week, and the topic for tonight. I do need to get to that, don't I, at some point? Just let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Everybody who has come to me or written to me and said, hey, you, Allan, why don't you write an ebook or some kind of a publication on how to use Zerine? A lot of people have asked me that over the years, and a lot more people in the last few weeks and months. One notably was Robert. Robert was asking me a lot of questions about the DMAP algorithm and other things, and he came up with the idea. He said, write it down, make a book. And I said, well, there already is one. There's one on the website. There's one on the Zerine website. And he said, no, write a book, one that we can read and will enjoy reading and maybe get a laugh out of, as well as learning about. And I told Rick about this last week, and he thought it was hysterical, but then thought about it some more. And eventually we agreed that we would do this together. And we would write something, and we would also make a video. And we would do it on one chapter and see how it goes. See if you guys like it. See if it's useful. If it is, maybe we can do more. If not, it will be buried somewhere quietly. But we're going to do kind of a multimedia approach. It'll be a discussion, possibly, between Rick and I. Maybe I'll pretend to be stupid and not know what any of this stuff does, and he'll explain it to me the way he does. I don't really have to pretend that much. And then I'll write the piece for the book. And then when it's all done, if we end up doing the whole thing, you will have a complete book on how to use Zerine, should you be so inclined. Does that sound interesting to anybody? Raise your hand if you're interested. That's important. If there's no interest in this, if the only person who wants to read it is in Northern Ireland, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with Northern Ireland, and I'll be happy to send him a book. But yeah, so let me know. If you're interested, we'll do it. Before I get to the subject for tonight, which I do want to talk about, let me see who's here, because I've somehow misplaced my home screen. There it is. Oh, I just see 20 CHFs, congestive heart failures, showed up in my box. Thank you so much, Patrick. That is very kind of you. Very kind, as always. So we are about there and headed south down the list. And Nina Shields is here from Atlanta, Hotlanta, that is. And welcome, Nina. I haven't been to Atlanta in forever. I love Atlanta, great town. My daughter used to live there. Very, very nice place. All right, let me see. Avery's here from Vermont. Greetings. And you love the new intro. I do get a chuckle out of that every time I play it. It is so much fun. It was fun to make. Very simple too. I could do a video if you want to make one for yourself. I'll show you how to do it. If you've got Premiere and some pictures, I'll show you how to do it. It's not difficult. If I can do it, it's not difficult. Peter Nagy is here from Knoxville, Tennessee, where it's hot again, and he is neither happy or joyous, according to this message, which is problematic. I hope that was an oversight, Peter. Klaus Gloy is here from Washington. Greetings. Good to see you here. And let me see. We should have some votes in by now, I'm guessing. Robert Kellogg. Now, there's a name that is new to me. This would be the third new name this evening. Robert, if this is your first visit, welcome. If it's your 50th visit, forgive me. I'm having COVID-related brain issues today, so that would explain that. And Gary is here. Greetings. And Walter had COVID for the first time 3 weeks ago. Completely flattened me for a week. Yeah, I was. The first one was not bad. The second one was pretty horrible, and the third one wiped me out. I felt like I was sick for 6 months after that. I hope this isn't the same way. I mean, I'm getting a bit old for this kind of thing. Anyway, Larry is here. Greetings, Larry. And that was the other page I wanted to tell you that Patrick said was up and running, and that's our 3D printing swap code page on the Walls app. Larry's taking care of that, and he's got that in great working order. This is fantastic having this. And very soon now, well, not very soon now, as of now, I'm not answering any more email. So if you want to get in touch with me, it's through that app. That's how you get in touch with me. And yeah, that's it. End of story. You understand that now. Okay, let me see. And Russ, 50 millimeters. Interesting. Mike, 200. Patrick, 100. Larry, 200. Robert, 200. Alistair, 200. F2. You couldn't carry a 200 F2. That would be gigantic. 200, 2.8. 200. Jan Nelson. Okay, guys, we're cooking with gas now. Let me see. David Brown, 200. Toluca, 200. Angie, 200. Bruce. Hello, Allan, he says. He didn't get the 200 message. Walter Sanford, 200. Automatic focus. Jim, 100. You're half right. And Nastavnik, 200. Great. This is good to hear. I had a theory that the one underrepresented lens in macro that we desperately need is something to replace the 200 f4. The Nikon manual doesn't autofocus, weighs a ton, ancient brick of a lens that is so beautiful. It's dying. It's at the end of its life. It's 30 years old. You can hardly buy them anymore, and when you do, they cost more than they did new. We need a company that is interested in macro, invested in macro, understands the issues of macro, to put together a really world-beating premium lens, the kind of lens you have to save up for and dream about for a long time before getting, that will be the 200 millimeter macro lens for the next the next 20 years or 200 years. This was Nikon's prize to lose. All they had to do was come out with a 200 millimeter prime macro with the new Z camera, and they would have had macro locked up for the rest of time. But they didn't. You can't even use the 105 with an extender and get that 200 millimeter lens. So we absolutely have to convince somebody to make one. And there is somebody I'm talking to who makes lenses. And if I can tell him that most of my people, plus a bunch of macro photographers on the professional side, are all behind this. Maybe we can get it done. Who knows? Let me see. Who else had an opinion? Mike, still looking for a 200 from Nikon with a Z mount. Yeah, well, you're going to have to keep looking because they're not making one. There isn't one. Paul, I bet it's lovely in Berkeley. Berkeley's a nice town. Yeah, university. I was replying to a Walter Sanford comment that he'd prefer to deal with B&H in the Mac group. I know you were, and I wasn't giving you a hard time. If it sounded like it, blame the COVID or whatever it is. Great. Oh, just me from Transylvania. Welcome. Glad you're here. And let me see, any more votes? Yep. Nina said 200, 2.8. But love the lightweight of the Sony new 70-200 f4 macro, but not 1:1 without teleconverter. Impressive lens. I have not got my hands on it. You know what? I have only shot with a couple of Sony lenses. I never cared for the Sony bodies when they came out. They were a bit too small for my hands, so I never took to it, never really pursued it. But that is a lens that was probably worth looking at. I am talking definitely about a 1:1, possibly even a 2:1 lens. At 200 is what I'm hoping that we'll arrive at a consensus on. Whether it be 1:1 or 2:1, yeah, a real macro lens in that focal length would be fantastic. So, Angie, I hope you're doing well. Have you been over and taken a peek at the enchanted flowers? I haven't. I don't do that, but you can if you like. I'd be interested to know. And we have a good evening from, and then the thing went bleep all the way to the bottom of the thing. Hang on, let me find out where I was. It's so weird how it does that. Alien, says Andrew. He saw the pictures. That's what I thought. I didn't want to say anything out loud. Dogman. What's a dogman? I don't like the sound of it, though. Everybody's got an opinion on what that thing out in my garden was. And there are so many great messages here. Oh, my goodness. I need to be reading faster. Let me see how zippy I can get with this before we run out of time. Joseph was saying, just me, good evening. Okay. Oh, he was saying hi to just me. Sorry, I'm not catching on here. Blame the COVID. I already said that. Thanks to Susan, Patrick Stahel says. Thank you indeed. You talked Patrick into adding a button to the Walls with an S, Walls app for your Amazon link so you can make some money. Jim, let me make a comment about that, seeing as you guys are the most likely people that would use such a thing. It turns out that is not actually kosher with Amazon. You cannot do that. I cannot do that. It is not allowed for me to say anything about about you making a purchase helping me. That sounds like an inducement of some kind, and I don't know if it's illegal, but I would get in trouble and kicked out of the program for that. So that is why we have backpedaled, and I've changed the wording in all of my written stuff to reflect the fact that I am making recommendations that I would make anyway for the equipment that I'm pointing you to. It is a fact that if you go to Amazon with one of my links and whatever you buy, that yes, that would count, but I can't tell you that, and I won't tell you that. I will keep that to myself. So, yeah. I don't know if I should say any more. Probably I've said too much as it is. It's a tricky thing. I don't want to upset them. I don't make very much money from them, but at the same time, it's all important. Every bit counts. So there you go. But thank you so much for mentioning that and thinking about it. That helps. And Paul, greetings in Florida, and. Friends are precious. Yes, are they ever? Yeah. You guys are all my friends, of course, and just over the years, I mean, it's just been just staggering how generous and thoughtful and kind you guys have been. And I know that not everybody can, and I totally understand that. The fact that you're here to watch a video or attend a live stream is just as important to me, and I appreciate every single one of you. I really do. This is the best job in the world. Yep. It's not the best paying job in the world. That would be a different thing. This is the best job to have. So I'm grateful to all of you. All right, before I get all emotional again, we'll move on. So let me see. So far, 1 for a 50, 2 for 100, and 12 for 200. Okay, I'm going to generalize and say that, let me see, 90% of everybody in the world voted for the 200. Is that a fair generalization, do you think? We'll see. We'll see what the gentleman that I'm talking to thinks about that. I'll write it down, though. There you go. So that is good. Thanks for doing that, Alistair. That's helpful information to have. And Mike, thanks Susan for supporting Allan, as do I. Fantastic. Just lost power in a thunderstorm, Gary says. Well, yep, we lose it every evening when we have one of these gully washes, as they call them. Hate that stuff. Andrew's here. Greetings. Comfortable in Oak Ridge today, says Terry. And Robert is a little bit late, but that doesn't matter. He made it, and that's fantastic. And Angie is telling me to feel better, and I will do everything in my power to feel better soon. Yeah, because this does not feel good. Yes, just fantastic, wasn't it, Paul? Just fantastic. I'm so grateful. And Julie, back in Huntsville, Alabama. Good. I hope everything was satisfactory out in the desert, and that you made it back all in one piece. We look forward to seeing you again at these events. And don't forget, on Saturday, we have a Pazoom, 10 o'clock in the morning, the new time from now on till the end of time. So this is your first time, Nastavnik, first time live, a little late, no problem, but you can be as late as you want. Couldn't resist the title. Oh gosh, I need to talk about the title. It's about failing, and it's important. We've got time. Oh, it's only 8:30. I'm gonna take a pause here, right at Robert saying hi. That was for me to remember. And I'm going to tell you what I want to talk about, because this was going to be part of what I wanted to talk about in relation to this lens by a company whose name I have no idea. I forget who it is. Mystery is the name of the company. The lens that will be released, and I will be talking about at great length, is a complicated lens. And I'll tell you all about it when the time is right. But tonight I'm going to tell you that this lens has several functional components to it. It's more than just a lens. It's a group of lenses. It's a set of lenses, if you will. And the set begins at a fairly let's say, for example, we were talking about magnification of a lens. It might be a set of lenses where the magnification begins at a fairly low level and then incrementally increases until at the last lens it's at a very high level. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that's what we're talking about. Well, most people who get into macro photography at some point, well, let me pedal that one back. Some people that get into macro photography remain at 1-to-1 and perfectly happy with it. They enjoy field macro and they become very, very accomplished at it, but they're not really interested in magnification. Those who do dabble with magnification will often begin at a very low magnification. Maybe by adding extension tubes or reversing a lens, they'll get to 2-to-1. And they'll discover that at 2-to-1, first of all, the number of things you can photograph appears to go down because these things are hard to see. In fact, it goes up enormously because there are so many small things that you'll come to recognize in doing this. But as you get more and more magnification under your belt, the progress becomes slower. You're going to have to take my word for this if you haven't been there. But the jump from 2:1 to 5:1 is a fairly significant jump. But the jump from 5:1 to 10:1 is much bigger. And from 10 to 20, it is orders of magnitude larger. Because things get really, really difficult. For one thing, as your magnification increases, your ability to identify and locate your subject becomes very challenged, because your depth of field disappears until you are ultimately photographing a cell layer of depth of field. So it becomes extremely difficult to see, to know what you're looking at. And then even when you can see and know what you're looking at, you still have to light it, diffuse it, photograph it, oftentimes with 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 individual frames to get one potentially decent picture out of it. That is that's a goal, an aspiration that certainly is noble, and I'm glad that there are people who do it so that I could learn from them. But it is not something that you want to rush into, because if you do, it would be like learning how to jump in the garden with your pet dog or whatever you jump with, and then the next day convincing your mother you wanted to do the pole vault at the Olympics, and her buying you a pole to vault with. Yeah, it's a bit too early for that. You ought to grow some first. Same thing with this. Having suddenly in front of you the hardware to do something that you are really not yet prepared to do or trained to do is a recipe for failing. And it's a recipe for failing in the wrong way. There are plenty of ways in macro to fail, and most of them are productive if they're done right. Failing with the help of a mentor or a friend who's also in the same boat that you are, that's a great way to learn. Not getting the picture that you think you should and then dissecting it to figure out what you did wrong. These are good ways to fail. Failing because you just don't have the instinctive know-how how to use a particular instrument is just frustrating. It's maddening. You get terrible results because you don't know any differently, because you've been through the process of getting there. Now, this is probably insulting some people who are extremely good with picking up new things. And I am not for 1 minute saying that there aren't people out there who could pick up a 50 times Mitutoyo objective, slap it on their camera, and take good pictures. I know that there are. I've seen pictures by people who did just that. I'm just saying that the odds are that's unlikely. For most people to get to where they have a facility with 50 times magnification, say, or 30 or 35, you need to work your way up to it. You need to understand in far more detail how the light operates at these very, very high numeric apertures. All of the things that we can take for granted at 5x and still get gorgeous, sharp pictures will kill us at 50x, because every single bit of detail has to be attended to. You have a numeric aperture at, say, 50 or 100 times even, that is so large, the collection area for light in front of that lens is so spread out that you cannot have any photons just bouncing around in your studio. You have to control all the light. And you have to diffuse all the light. You have to soften it, but you don't have any room to do that. You've got a tiny working distance. And working your way up to this is so important. The reason I brought this up, and the reason this has been on my mind all week, is because this is analogous to what this mystery lens is going to do. It is going to very promptly put in front of a lot of very well-meaning enthusiasts a temptation to run before they can mess the diapers, really. I mean, you will open this box. If it comes in a box, it might come in a box. You've seen the box. Okay, so you know it does. You'll open the box and you'll look in and you'll see a lot of glass and metal, and you'll think, oh, goody, goody, time for, the top end of the scale there. And I don't want to see anybody do that and turn away from macro because they get discouraged or disillusioned. And I don't know how to deal with that. I have written a letter, a very long and detailed letter. It's a report that will be going to the Mystery Lens Company, and it is it's a very complete record of my months with the lens, and I include a whole bunch of recommendations on things that could be improved. And I will talk about each and every one of them when I review the lens on the 26th. And one of the things that I mentioned in my afterword, in my closing, was this possibility. And I don't think we should take it lightly. I think it's the kind of thing that if you know about it and if you're prepared for it, there is nothing wrong with taking this and putting aside maybe one or two of the pieces for later use. And that's in fact what I would recommend to most people to do until they were well and truly ready to tackle it, because you would still be saving so much money. And that I can't say anything else about the money, but other than you would be saving so much money by doing that, it would be okay to just set it aside for another day. Okay, that was a little bit circuitous, but I hope you got the message here. I take the education of you guys, or the helping you understand the finer points of this type of work very, very seriously, because I know how easy it is to get discouraged. I know how easy it is to get distracted, and mastery of this kind of photography just doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't, not for anybody. It takes years and years of doing it, and I want everybody to get as much joy out of it as I get out of it, and that comes from not being in a hurry. I know I seem like I'm in a hurry a lot of the time, but that's to get content out to you. When it comes to my macro photography, I move at a fairly stately pace. If I take a photograph and I'm disappointed in it, if I know that I could have done better or think I could have done better, I'm going to take that again and again and again. I'm going to take it as many times as I need to either convince myself I don't know how to do this and I need to move backwards a little bit and get caught up, or I figure it out and get a better picture, and then I can teach you about it. So failing gracefully and with purpose is one of the best things that you can do for your macro. Flailing and getting disgusted is one of the worst. It really is. It doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth. It is because of people who do that there are lenses like the 200mm f4 available for purchase used on the used market, because it's a difficult lens to use. Robert told me the other day, we were chit-chatting about the 200mm Nikkor, micro Nikkor, the f4. And I asked him, in all honesty, this may have been in the interview, I asked him, did he not think it was a difficult lens to use? And he said he's never shot with it off a tripod. Yeah, that was an important lesson for me to learn. I learned that lesson myself when I had Susan's 200 f4. I went out and shot with it 2 days in a row to get just a few pictures for the video. I couldn't get a single one that was worth keeping. What did you think of the ant on the cover today? That is such a pretty ant. Pseudo myrmicus or something like that. Gracillus. That is the Mexican twig ant, or the pleasing twig ant. It's got a lot of different names. I love that ant. It's so pretty. Would you like to see an insect in flight photograph? I'm going to show you one, whether you'd like to or not. Has anybody, by the way, figured out, oh, I've got another, what is this? You want another one? This one's not from outer space. This one's from my back garden. It's, I think, it's a slime mold, but I don't know. And I didn't get a chance to send it to, hang on, let me put it up on the thingamajig. I didn't get a chance to send this to Alison, but I'm going to. But tell me if you think it is. I think it's a small one, but if you look around, you'll see other little out of focus slime mold things, if that's what it is. But this thing looks like a gob of mucus that's eating its way through a lichen. That's what it looks like to me anyway. What do you think? I know it's not a very good picture, but it's to show you the thing. I get the impression that it's moving and leaving bits of itself behind, but I may be wrong. So let me know what you think. If it is a slime mold, I will be thrilled, because I don't think I've ever photographed one before. Not that I haven't tried. Let me see if I can pull up on my other screen one of my insects in flight. It's actually more than just another screen. It's another computer. I have not yet figured out how to get these things to work together. And I lost 90% of my Lightroom photographs. They got stuck between the computers where I couldn't access them from either. Have you ever done that? Don't do it. It'll get you in a bad mood very, very quickly. Let me see if I can find the picture I wanted to show you. This is fun, this, isn't it? Watching somebody play on the computer. It's excellent. It's well, I found the file, so we're already ahead of the game. These are butterflies. I went down. Oh, this was the day I went down with Laura to shoot the mystery lens with the Novaflex rail, and I got frustrated because of the wind. But so did the butterflies, and they were landing on things and then just holding on. They were afraid to let go. But when they did, I could be right close to them and take a picture as they were blown off the plant. And it looked like they were in flight. Let me see if I can find them. It was good fun. It was good fun. We had a good visit too. Let me see. Just chat amongst yourselves. I can hum if you'd like. You probably... Oh. I'm going to show you a picture of some butterfly scales. These are pretty, actually. I wonder how you, I don't think I can do this. I can't show you what's on this screen. Oh, yes, I can. Hang on a sec. Let me see if my phone's working. Tell me if, no, it's stopped working too. Okay, so this is not going to work after all. I'll put them somewhere on the website. You're just looking at the are you looking at me or are you looking at the thing? No, you're looking at me. So let me see, is there a way I can get this picture over here? There isn't. I'd have to export it and then share it over here, and by the time I did that, you'd all be asleep. So I'll put these pictures somewhere. I'm sending the flying insects ones to Jan anyway, so I'll put them on my website or on Patreon or both. Or on Discord. I can do that. I'm going to be busy tonight, and I'm supposed to be dying of COVID stuff. But anyway, let me see. What time is it? Oh gosh, I haven't even said hi to everybody yet. I warned you that this was going to be a tough one. Look at you. Look at how many people are here. 49. Blimey O'Reilly. That is fantastic. Welcome, everybody. I love this, yes. Richard Keel. James Bond villain, Jaws. Hard guy to miss that. You talking about the 9-foot tall guy with teeth? Metal teeth? Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a thing. Dogman. What is a dogman, Toluca? And why is Amy laughing at that? A drone. Ooh, could you think it could be a drone? It's a drone with fire coming out of its ankles and its wrists. I suppose it could be a damaged flying saucer. Okay, we're getting some votes now for a flying saucer. Do things like this only show up in the South? They only show up actually in my garden. Yeah, this is it. You think possibly a hoax? Alien, says Andrew. Just me says, I don't want to say aliens, but it's aliens. Okay, so it's aliens. Laura is probably feeling a little bit sheepish right now because that's what I told her it was aliens. And she said, no, it's not aliens. It's just people pretending to be aliens. I think it was aliens. Let me see. I saw the movie Alien and these things look worse than that. And of course, Joseph suggests that maybe it is correctly called Alien Walls Photography, not Allan Walls Photography. Ka-ching. Good one. Love it. Love the Novaflex interview, says Russ. Thank you. Good. I'm glad you did. I feel like I should have, I was a bit disappointed in a couple of things, but interviews are hard. There are more than one person involved in those, so you just have to. I mean, he was a great interview, easy to interview. Both of the gentlemen were very, very good interview guests. I just wish I'd moved the agenda along a little faster because next thing I knew we were out of time, and I do hate that. And Bruce enjoyed it too. Good. Well, thanks. That was great, as did Russ. And I appreciate that. My competition entry is ready to post on the website. On the web app. walls-app, no spaces.com. And that's where you put it. Great. Fantastic. Please give Allan a thumbs up, says Amy. Right on, says Robert. Well done. And done, says everybody else. Fantastic. Great. Thumbs up. That's good. But Joseph says, no, only 25% of you have put your thumbs up. That's a disappointment. But I have a feeling that others will before they leave. 12 of 48 viewers, 19, says Alistair. I'm not getting caught up in this. You press the share button in Safari. Scroll down till you see the add to home screen. Okay, you're right. I did. That's right. That's what I needed to do. I'm going to demonstrate. Okay. Can you see? Yes. No. All right. So what you do is you go to Safari. That's the thing at the bottom. And then you put in the walls-app.com and that comes up. Nope, that comes up. There you go. Go to the bottom and there's the share button. That's the box with the arrow going up. Tap that and then scroll down till you get to there that says add to home screen and hit that and then it'll add it to the home screen and that's all you've got to do. I didn't realize that, but that's all you've got to do. I wasn't doing that part, but that's it. Go to the box with the arrow, the share thing, and then put it on the home screen. You'll be glad you did because, well, I don't know why, but I mean, you will be glad you did. I'm glad I got it done. So now I can just tap one thing and there's my. But the thing is, I already know what's on there because I put it there. So I won't be tapping it as much as you will. But if you want to know my schedule, for example, I want to practice putting one of those up, shouldn't I? Well, it's a work in progress. I might wait till I'm feeling a little bit better to do that. Did anybody think that was a slime mold? Let me see. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom and then come back up, which means I'm usually going to get lost. Please do how to touch up, but please type slowly. Okay. You mean for the Zerine thing? How to do retouching? Okay. I can only type slowly. I've never been able to type. Well, I'm up to a word a minute now. If the word is fairly short, 3 to 4 letters. Otherwise, it's a few minutes on that. But yeah, I'm getting better. Don just bought a NovaFlex reversing adapter for Sony E-mount. Very nicely made and working well for my application. Good. I must say, I have never used one of the adapters, but I have seen several of them, and they do look like they are over-engineered to heck and back, which is great. I mean, you want that. They look fantastic. In fact, they look a lot like old Nikon stuff, which was fantastic and is still good now. Harold Hall got the Walls app on his phone and is going to check it out soon. I hope you do, because I think it's going to be very helpful. It's going to have all kinds of stuff on it, and you can get to the website, to the channel, to the competition, to the new My Rig app, even to the picture swapping thing, which I didn't go into a lot of detail with this evening. I will on Thursday. We'll talk more about the picture swap, because that's something that you need to be thinking of. If you committed to do it, then now would be a good time to start thinking about what pictures you're going to swap. And 3 nice pictures is the goal. I'm going to be sending in 3 alien pictures, so be braced for that. No, I wouldn't do that. Let me see if anybody else has got an idea what that might be. The app is a brilliant workaround for the Apple Store. Yeah, it's a... I learned about web apps today. I read an article on it. They're different than apps. They don't hold as much data, so you can't have a lot of content in them, but you can link to that content, and that's really the power of this. It's just a hub to get to the stuff that you want to get to. This is what people have been asking me to do since day one. And at some point, maybe there'll be a way to link my content in a way that you can search it. I hope so. Something like that would be great. Thanks very much, Patrick, for explaining that again to me. Let me see. I'm interested in an ebook on Zerine. Okay. You're going to be getting all my ebooks from now until the end of time, Susan, so you better want it. Yeah, you're definitely going to be getting it, that's for sure. And it will be good, because it will be funny and full of information and useful, and I'm going to get a guy that I know to edit it who understands the inner workings of Zerine. That's the only way I would agree to do this, was if he tore it apart in the edit. So that's good. All right, let me see. Let me see. 01 Alterman is a new person, and he's waving, and I'll wave back. Alterman, I'm glad you're here. Please come again, because we're here twice a week, every week. 2 o'clock on Thursdays, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Time on Thursdays, 8 o'clock in the evening, Central Time on Tuesdays. And then if you're a Patreon member, of course, every other weekend, 10 o'clock in the morning per Zoom, which is a 2-hour private meeting with me to talk about whatever you want, to do whatever you want, to learn whatever you want. Okay, so let me see. What is the story on the guest area of your app with a password? There's a guest area with a password? I think I know that there's a staff area. That's for me, because I'm the staff. But I didn't know there was a guest area. I'll find out about that. Maybe Patrick is still here and he'll explain what that means, because I haven't got to that bit yet. We'll see. 100 millimeters, says Gary. Toluca 200. Yep. In the micro four thirds. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Don't you guys have a 200 millimeter equivalent in the micro four thirds? Well, I guess that would be 100 millimeter macro. Let me see. So 105, says Todd. You mentioned getting old. I wonder how old is your audience? I don't know. I mean, I don't really care. It's private. They're all young. They're all younger than I am. So, yeah, they're probably in their 25s. Yeah. I wouldn't ever guess more than 30 if it was a lady, 50 if it was a man. So they're all under that. 200, says Bruce. And Joseph says, to Luca, I'm sure if one comes out from a third party like, I don't know, Laowa, there would be a UFT version. Yep. I don't know what U means. I take it that means micro 4/3. Oh, the U for micro, yeah. Okay, got it. Bruce is giving his age again. He did this a few years ago too. Bruce, you don't have to do that. 83. Gosh, you're old, aren't you? Bruce, you're older than I am. Toluca, 69. Alistair, 63. Todd, 45. Babe in arms. Or are these focal lengths of lenses you want? I'm guessing that this is your age. All right. I heard about that search function. What search function? Larry, to Roy, I miss my old 105 2.5. I've got a 105 2.5, an old one. I don't know if it's even going to work on the Z. I hope so. Oh, yes, it does, because I used it before. That's a lovely lens. Nice and sharp, but no vibration reduction. I've been using it with the Tamron. Works very nicely. With the FTZ adapter. Very, very nice. All right, let me see. Roy says, I have too much gear. I find it hard to sell it when it gets too old. Well, don't. Keep it. I don't. I sold a bunch of gear before I started doing this 5 years ago, and it was the worst thing I ever did. It was the most terrible decision ever, because I have subsequently needed every single piece of it and had to go buy it and figure out how to get it or borrow it. So yeah, don't do it. Keep it. You can never get your money out of it, even if it's an investment, unless you buy a printing Nikkor. A printing Nikkor at a 150 or a 105, you'll get your money out of that. You'll probably make money on that. What's the other one? What's the EL Nikkor that I forget the name of that, the Nikon version that's still being made. I would love to get one of those, but they're hard to find. The old 55 f2.8 AIS is fun. I've got one on the shelf right there. I love that lens. It is very sharp. It's very hard to use in the field. We need reach out in the field. I think 200 is the magic number. It just lets you get so much closer to your subjects without overfilling the frame. Yeah. Let me see. What time is it? Oh, it's a minute past already. Listen, guys, in case you have to run, if you have an appointment with the parole people tonight or something, you better run on, and I'll see you on Thursday maybe. If not then, I'll see you on Saturday possibly. And if that's not the case, then hopefully I'll feel well enough to get some of these videos moving and get them out to you in the next little bit. The good news is I'm not doing the mystery lens video again. This was the final iteration that I did because I summed everything up and it's good. It's a good video. When I think it's a good video, you know it's going to be a good video. It's got a lot of good information in it and you'll enjoy it, and I think it'll tell you everything you need to know about who that lens is for and whether or not you're in that number, because it is not something I'm going to recommend for everybody. So that's coming up, and I just literally cannot remember what else I have coming up in the next little bit. So many projects and so little time, literally. So good night, everybody. I am going to go directly to bed. Well, no, I probably should go and do some ablutions first and then go to bed. But that's the plan. So if you're trying to get in touch with me or you're waiting for me to do something, please bear with me till the morning in case I don't get to it tonight, though I will try to. Thank you for coming. Thank you for putting up with me this evening. I just don't feel like I was all together here, but we'll make up for it with a great one on Thursday. Hopefully I'll be all better by then. So if there's anything that you guys asked me or were waiting for me to say or do, I missed it. Oh, hang on, there's a question. Joseph, to Roy. Tearing down the double helicoid of the 55 is the hardest part of what? Breaking the lens? Don't anybody else do that. That's terrible. You'll never get it back together. Okay, good night, everybody. Take care, stay well, and don't come near me. until I'm sure I don't have the COVID anymore. Stay away. Laura, don't get sick. Please. All right. See you guys later. Take care. Good night.